Hey everybody, today I want to talk about faith, voting, and abortion. Today on Catholic Breakfast. So the other day I was listening to some of my favorite podcasts and was listening to a wonderful podcast by my good friend and one of the best Catholic apologists in the English-speaking world, none other than Mr. Trent Horn. His podcast called The Council of Trent, council with a S-E-L. Get it? Get it? And anyway, Trent's just a marvelous figure in the Catholic world, in the kind of cultural world right now in this country. And so I encourage you to listen to it. But he really helped to lay out some basic kind of rules or principles for voting in the light of faith, especially with respect to abortion in this country. So I thought I would choose not a very controversial topic for this video. Let me just show you the 5 rules for politicians that Trent lays out. I think it's really helpful. It's just clear Catholic teaching. And then that helps us as voters, citizens, to make decisions. And so I'll speak about the rules for politicians, then some kind of rules or principles for us as voters when it comes to the issue of abortion. Here's the first one. We have to make sure that a politician has to make sure that law protects every human being. So it's the ground level of what politics is for. Safety for citizens, right? That's the basic thing. If citizens aren't safe, then none of the other things that happen politically really matter. And of course, abortion is extremely unsafe for the unborn child. Now, secondly, the obligation to have laws to protect life includes unborn life, for the reason that I just mentioned. Does this impose religion, if you're a Catholic politician, is this imposing religion on non-Catholic citizens? No, absolutely not, because this is not a fundamental religious belief. It's common sense. It's being honest about the lack of safety of abortion. The right to life, the human right to life, is a self-evident right. It's not given by a religion. It's not given by the state. It's given from the very virtue of what a human being is, and it becomes the foundation for all other rights. Politicians must promote laws that protect unborn life. Thirdly, politicians can never vote to increase or maintain legal access to abortion. Well, why not? Because it violates the basic right to life for the unborn. Now, fourth, politicians can vote for laws that limit abortion even without abolishing abortion. Now, of course, this is debated, but the reason for this is what we call the principle of double effect. So you have one action which is going to have 2 different effects, one good, one bad. Are there situations in which someone can choose that action even though it produces a bad effect? Yes. How? There's 3 basic conditions for that. One is you're not intending the bad effect. That's called formally cooperating, wanting the bad effect. You can't do that. It's simply permitting the bad effect. Secondly, there's a proportionate reason to do it. The good of having the good effect outweighs the bad of the bad effect, and also it's a last resort. So you don't have other options. This is how, at least theoretically, a politician could vote for laws which limit abortion even without abolishing abortion. He or she is not actively wanting those abortions to happen. There could be a proportionate good there. It could be leading to the eliminating of abortion in a certain culture, and there's not another way to produce that good, at least in the current situation. And then here's the 5th rule that Trent says, which I love. Politicians who do number 3, promoting laws which increase or maintain legal abortion, should not present themselves for Holy Communion, obviously in the context of Catholic religious practice and in the Mass. Well, why not? Because what is Holy Communion? It's an act of obedience and submission and union to Christ himself, who's the source of all good, the source of all human dignity, the source of all human rights. So to be at the same time formally intending the rejection or violation of human rights, and then uniting yourself in love to the source of all human rights is a kind of operative contradiction. And so in that case, the politician should seek to be reconciled to the truth, reconciled to the church, hopefully with the help of good pastors. And then, and only then, should the politician seek to present themselves for Holy Communion. This is especially true for politicians because of the public manifestation of their formal cooperation with the evil. Okay, you're still with me? I told you this was not going to be a controversial video at all. But those are basically 5 rules, and I think nice distillation of some Catholic principles around how politicians should act with respect to abortion and law. Now, what about citizens who are called to vote in a democratic system or democratic republic like we have in the United States of America? Trent's so helpful with here. Trent, if you see this video, thank you. First, we can say it's really gravely evil, and that means there's a particular weight to the evil. When a Catholic votes for a politician for the reason of abortion, that politician promotes abortion, wants to maintain abortion, if a Catholic votes for that politician for that reason, it's gravely evil. Why? Because the Catholic is willing the evil that politician is wanting and is participating in bringing it about. It's called the formal supporting or formal participation in evil. And if you ask, well, why is that wrong? It's wrong for the basic reason that the human will is made to choose what is good and to resist what is evil. It not only produces bad effects and consequences for the people that get hurt, but it also does radical damage to the soul of the human being. It makes a human being to become bad, to become evil. That's what the moral life does, if it's wrongly appropriated. Fine. But what if you've got 2 gravely evil situations, or 2 politicians, 2 candidates in an election who are both promoting grave evils? Well, what do you do there? Ask the question this way: can you vote for a pro-choice politician if you're a Catholic? Well, the answer is, it depends. If you mean, can I vote for a pro-choice politician in the formal sense, meaning because that politician is pro-abortion, the answer is no. A Catholic cannot do that for the reasons that I just mentioned. Can there be situations in which a Catholic can vote for a pro-choice politician? Well, we have to say, at least theoretically, hypothetically, yes. And technically, that's called remote and material cooperation within the conditions of double effect. I know that's a mouthful. It would take a little bit to unpack that, but let me just lay out to express it, articulate it in an example. Imagine you have 2 candidates running for office who have the power to lead the country and form laws and public opinion and legislation around abortion. One of the candidates wants abortion to be required in hospitals, in the sense of even if a hospital doesn't want to do abortions, has a conscientious objection to it, that politician will require the abortions to be done in that hospital. Whereas another candidate is basically pro-choice. So he is okay with abortions happening in hospitals, may even promote it, but won't force, say, a Catholic hospital to do abortions there. He'll permit them not to have abortions. In that case, could that fulfill the requirement for proportionality within the question of double effect? I think the answer there is yes, that a Catholic could vote for the second candidate, presuming that there's not a better option, that is a proportionate reason, and that the Catholic is not formally intending the evil of abortion. Basically trying to choose the lesser of 2 evils in that situation. So that'd just be kind of an articulation of some basic principles of how Catholics think about politicians, and then how we as Catholics exercise our vote. I think, as Catholics, there's a lot more we could say about different political parties or different political candidates. It really is up to each individual Catholic, as far as he or she is able, to form his or her conscience according to the objective truth of reality and the objective truth of what the Church teaches us about the dignity of the human person and these moral principles that I'm expressing to you in this video. It's not up for a priest or a pastor or a bishop, even a pope, to say, to sort of dictate a vote for a particular candidate. That would be kind of a violation of a person's dignity and responsibility to participate in a democracy, in a democratic republic. That does not mean that anything goes. So the two extremes, which neither one is Catholic, are really to be rejected. The first extreme is that Catholics should always vote in for a certain political party. That's just not the case. Catholics stand, in a certain sense, above in a place where we can judge and critique political parties. Secondly, though, the other extreme is a kind of indifferentism, where we'd say, you know what, you can kind of do whatever you want. Just kind of do what you want, choose whatever political party you want, or just disengage from the political realm altogether. That's not at all what the church teaches. We have an obligation to participate as best we can according to the principles which inform our conscience well. Does that make engaging in a tough political environment easy? Absolutely not. But it means that we're meant to do it according to the best of our ability, in light of what God has revealed, in light of what reason itself has access to. And then I think we're participating as best we can in our political system and leaving the rest in God's hands. Thanks for joining me.